The truth about the government. Do you like them? Do you not? This is gonna be a spicy one today. Let's just jump right into it. Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Noah, back again with another YouTube video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I help people awaken to their true abilities through wellness and spirituality, aka Noah's Ark. And thank you guys so much for stopping by. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the truth about the government. But before I start talking about the government, I want to first put out a disclaimer right here. All my The Truth About series on my playlist, I talk about my truth and my truth only. And so if you disagree with it, then that's okay. But if you agree with it, then that's okay as well. This is just my subjective truth. You know, everybody's truth is gonna look different. And so, like I said before, you know, if you don't agree with me, then that's okay. But just letting you know, you might disagree with me. So that is a possibility. But with all that being said, the truth about the government. You know, a lot of people like the government. You know, a lot of people think that the government is doing a service to us, right? And, you know, they make it seem like they are, right? It's very prominent that they want us to be on their side. You know, a few years ago I had my spiritual awakening, and if you don't know what a spiritual awakening is, it's where your life completely changes. You know, you go from living on autopilot to having a newfound perspective of how you view life in general, you know. And once I had this spiritual awakening, there was a lot of things that I was learning about myself. You know, I started practicing stillness, and through stillness, you know, I was able to learn a lot about myself and a lot about what's going on in the world, because a lot of people don't know this, but if you want to know a lot about the world, practicing stillness can be a huge key for you, you know. But you also learn a lot about yourself, you know. And so what I learned was that the government isn't necessarily on our side. You know, the government tries to portray like they are, but they do a lot of things that aren't necessarily favorable to the human race, right? And what the government truly does is that they govern our mental state of consciousness, right? Shout out to Ralph Smart, that's where I picked up that reference. Pretty catchy, right? They govern our mental subconscious and our mental consciousness, you know, as a whole, right? Now, what do I mean by that? Attention is one of our most powerful assets that we have as human beings, right? And the government knows this, right? That's why they try to obtain our attention, right? They try to have us focus on different things in our life, right? Who got shot here? Who got killed here, right? What news is happening over here, right? News stations in general are most of the time negative, right? And so because they are negative, they're not helping us, they're not benefiting us in any way, right? We can go on our whole entire life without ever watching the news again, right? And it'll be 100% fine. You know, my life changed whenever I stopped watching the news. You know, it became a lot more positive. It's not just the news though, you know, it's other forms of media that they try to divert our attention towards, right? Like adverts on fast food, you know, things that are very unhealthy for us, right? And, you know, I'm not hating on you if you enjoy fast food, but what I am saying is that there's a lot more better things that the government could draw our attention towards instead of fast food, right? Instead of negative news, right? Instead of what so-and-so is doing, right? Instead of talking about what celebrity, you know, the significance of certain celebrities, right? The government has a great power in attracting our attention, right? Because social media is so prevalent, and I love social media, right? Social media is what has helped me with my YouTube channel, right? It has helped me get my reach out there. And so as much as I love social media, I'm also aware that it can be a double-edged sword, right? You have to use it properly. You can't focus your attention too much on social media. That's what I've learned. The government wants our attention to be elsewhere, right? Because whenever it's elsewhere, we aren't focused on what it is that we want to do with our life, right? If the government, and they're smart too, they know that if they can get our attention away from ourselves, then they can program and manipulate us to believe whatever they want, right? It's all manipulation, right? Whenever the TV first came out, there's certain, that's why they call it the program, right? Because it programs your subconscious mind, right? And there are a lot of news, if you go on TV, there's a lot of different shows that are gonna program your mind to think negatively, right? Most movies and most TV shows out there aren't doing anything to benefit your own life. And like I said, I'm not hating on you if you watch TV or if you watch movies. I'm not a huge, I do watch TV, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't consume too much of it. And that's kind of the message that I want to get out to you guys is divert your attention away from screens, right? Because this is where the government can take control over us. They can possess the power to enslave us. Like I said before, our attention is one of our most powerful assets. And once we realize this, then we can understand that there's only a certain amount of people who would want us to divert our attention from ourselves, right? And those are the people in the government. What's another funny thing about the government is that there's never one person, or it's never a group of people. It's never who is a part of the government. It's like, we don't know. It's like a guessing game, right? We could be like, oh, the president probably could be a part of the government, or maybe governors are part of the government. Maybe it's the politicians who run our country are the government. It's like, we don't really necessarily know, right? There's never a face to what the government actually is. It's like no one knows. The government is like this entity that we can't see, right, with our eyes. It's like, if it's not the president, if it's not the governor, who is it, right? Who's the person, or who's the people, right? Who's the entity who's controlling the toll fees, right, whenever we're driving, right? Who is it who is dictating what law, gets passed, right? Obviously the president vetoes a law, but like, who actually makes it, right? Well, you could be like, oh, it's like a branch of the government, but it's like, what does that mean, right? So there's never like a certain person or a group of people who we know the government to be, so just based off of that, it's like, there's a bunch of red flags there, because it's like, we don't even know who we're giving, our power to, right? And so I want you guys to understand that the government isn't doing right by us. They don't really necessarily care about us, right? Because if they cared about us, we'd be able to eat for free, right? It's like, why would we have to pay for food, right? We can just grow food in our backyard. Why would we have to pay for it? Why do we have to pay for living? Why do we have to pay for healthcare? Right? And you could be like, oh, well, it's always been like that. It's like, honestly, no, it hasn't. There are certain entities that created certain rules governing the fact that we have to pay for certain things, right? There has to be a currency, right? Back in the old days, it was, you would trade things for goods, right? There wasn't a currency. You didn't have to pay for anything. It was, what items do you have that's valuable that you could gain from somebody else, right? It was an exchange, right? And it's still an exchange now, but it's, not an exchange that we need, right? And so I want to come out here to make this video about the truth about the government, because the government, like I said before, it's never on our side. But and as negative and as draining as that might sound, there is a good side to this, right? And truths can be uncomfortable, right? And that's why I enjoyed making truths on my channel, right? Making the truth about videos on my channel, because I want to spread the awareness to you guys. I want to help you guys better your life. And this truth is going to help you better your life, because once we understand that the government's not really doing anything to help us, right, or their intentions aren't pure like ours, then we can understand that we don't have to feed all of our attention towards those entities, right? We don't have to feed our attention towards what's going on the news, right? We don't have to feed our attention towards what's going on the television, or, you know, what Rihanna's doing, right? What Lady Gaga's doing. We don't have to divert our attention towards these celebrities, you know? And that is why I want to make this video, to inspire you to focus your attention towards yourself, right? Do you have a passion? You know, is there something that you want to pursue in your life? If you do, I'm here to remind you to just do it, right? My last video was titled Just Do It, and it was talking about to go after what it is that you are passionate about, right? Don't let the government get involved in your business. You know, don't let the government dictate what you want to do with your life, right? Because they're not on our side. And once you understand this fact, then you can start to create the life for yourself, right? It's part of, you know, once we focus our attention away from the government, then that is when our attention is placed strictly towards what it is that we want to do with our life. You know, once I understood that the government isn't on my side, right, and they're not doing right by me, that is ultimately when my life changed for the better. You know, because I was able to understand that if I take all my attention that I've been using towards the news and towards social media and towards certain celebrities, what they're doing, that is when ultimately I was able to create the life that I wanted to, right, through YouTube. And now that I've focused most of my attention on YouTube, I've had a wonderful life, right? My life is great each and every day, and I'm super grateful that I'm able to create videos for you guys to inspire you, to awaken to your true abilities, right? This is what I talk about on my channel all the time. Awaken to your true abilities, right? What are some things that you want to do? Right? We can create our own government in here. Right? We have the capability to govern our own minds. Right? Believe in yourself. Understand that you are worthy of so much more than you give yourself credit for. You know, you are worthy of success. You are worthy of living the successful life. You are worthy of living a prosperous life, an abundant life. But it's going to come from believing in yourself, and it's going to come from steering your attention away from the news and from screens in general, right? This is why I was saying that stillness is so important at the beginning. Because it is, right? You can learn so much from being by yourself. And so, with all that being said, my friends, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys gained knowledge. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't be afraid to pursue your dreams and your aspirations. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, or if you have any future video recommendations for your boy, feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. And if you want to hit me up on Instagram or Twitter, my DMs are always open for you guys. Now will be the time, as I'm gaining rapid popularity on this app. Right now is the time to DM me if you want to, if you want me to actually respond before I have like thousands and thousands. If you want to hit me up on my DMs, it's going to be at NoahIsArk right here. But with all that being said, my friends, have a wonderful afternoon, morning, or night, wherever you're at, and peace, love, and happiness. Mwah.